the field goal. He's got the premiership.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Between the Sticks. If you are new here, hit that like button, hit subscribe, comment down below and all that good stuff. If you are listening to us on Spotify, make sure you go follow us there. Boys, sad round that was, last round. I don't know how early we're going to get into it in terms of the Dogs game, but depressing. This week I really felt that. I really felt it on the Monday. I know the game happened on a Thursday, but it had lasting effects on me, bro, going into this week.
Yeah, it was it's been a while since we lost, and I forgot that feeling of losing. It is depressing, and it ruins your weekend. But again, we go again this week.
We used to get that a lot, bro, back in the day. We were talking a couple of years ago.
I got used to losing, and I didn't really care a lot. But now we're winning, and I actually do care when we lose, because
I think the good news is there's a Godfather among us.
Who's this?
Congrats, man.
How was it?
The christening, it was good. So Salib, Elias, he was quiet. He didn't he cried a little bit at the church, but he was fine after it. But
Did he cry because you were the Godfather?
Yeah, obviously.
Most importantly, did you get wasted?
Nah.
I feel like that's the place to do it.
No, obviously.
You got to do it as a Godfather at a christening. I feel like it's right.
You're a role model to your
Look, a lot of people
nephew.
were trying to tell me to get drunk, but I was like, I refused. I couldn't.
Because I'm talking out of my ass, bro. Don't get drunk at a christening. Of course.
Obviously, no. I couldn't. I can't do that, man. It's not a good thing, bro. You're going to give yourself a bad image. Like, it's not worth it.
Especially, like, you're the role model to your nephew.
Of course, because, later on when he grows up, like, you got to teach him how to learn about the faith, about learning about Christ, and getting closer to God.
I'm sorry, cuz.
No.
He's one click away from saying everything about you, bro.
Come on, mate.
Go to any
Come
vlog,
on,
bro.
mate. No, don't go that way.
Am I right or wrong,
No,
bro?
you're right. You're 100% right.
God bless him, bro. But I'm saying he's one click away from saying
know.
everything about you, bro.
But you know what? You have to learn for yourself. Like, if you're going to be a Godfather, you have to be responsible, but it's going to change your life forever, because you have to be at least a better person. You know what I mean?
All right, regardless.
Look, everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah,
but you learn from
100%.
it. You know?
Well, we're not a faith podcast. We're not a lifestyle podcast. We're a sports podcast. Now let's. Now it's all right. It's all good, man. It's all good.
It's good
God bless him, bro. God bless him.
Thank you.
But let's talk about the Doggies versus the Broncos, since we touched on it.
Yeah.
Let's break the game down a bit more. What were your opinions about the game?
Yeah, it was a game or two halves. First half was the game plan just went out the window. That knock on from Preston really stuffed us up big time, and we just couldn't get control of the game. Broncos had like 79% possession. When you're getting some bins, you're not holding the ball, you can't win a game. And then we see second half of different Bulldogs, the Bulldogs we've been seeing for these past few weeks, this whole season, controlling the game, up in their faces, defensively solid. We only conceded one try that half. So that loss I'm not worried about at all, because I see the first half, the second half. First half was like just 1 in a million. That's never going to ever happen again. But we see the second half, how we've been playing the whole year. If that knock-on doesn't happen from Preston and those sim bins, I think we're going to win that game, because Preston's knock on. Now, again, I'm not blaming him for the loss, but that one led to a domino effect of everything going wrong. Those sim bins happen. So if Preston doesn't lose that ball, the pressure's not on us, and maybe those sim bins are prevented. So this is not a concern for me at all. I think we're still on the right path, and I think we'll get the win this week.
Yeah, I feel like the Broncos played our game. I feel like their line speed was up to par. Usually the Bulldogs' line speed is second to none against the opposition. Yeah. I feel like they mastered what we're good at. I feel like their attack was amazing. On to your points, their defense was spectacular. Adam Reynolds shut us down the whole game. Yeah. I mean, like, I don't wish an injury upon a player, but when he had that little shoulder injury, when he scored that try, I'm not going to lie, got kind of hopeful there. I'm like, shit, if he gets injured, he's off the field, we might win this game. But yeah, there was back-to-back tries on Montoya's side, which I wasn't proud about. That should have been shut down straight off the bat. Yeah. But just a poor first half, leaked too many points. What was the stat? It was we hadn't conceded more than 14 points in 38 days or something like that.
20,
And in three games. So we lost that all in the first half, which was upsetting to see. We were actually at a restaurant, going off our head. Yeah. A place where we shouldn't be. We should have been at that game, but that's beyond the point. But now we know time and place.
Yeah.
Bashara knows.
Especially me.
But look, at least we won the second half. The second half was 18-8. 18-8. They got that last minute try.
How I see, I just feel like Sammy said, I'm not worried about the way, like we've lost that game. I think just the pressure, the way Broncos just attacked us, and to be honest, credit to them, they capitalized on us when we were players down. I think it was one player down at a point, then 2 plays, and they scored tries from that. But I just feel it's nothing that we should worry about. I just think if it was 13v13 for the entire game, I think we would have seen a much better Bulldogs, a much stronger Bulldogs that we've seen for the rest of the season. For us to say the Bulldogs have been humbled and that, I don't really take that. I think we came here to play a game. You look at the second half, just first half, the thing just went out of proportion. The structure was out of place. The sim bins we had got, that's our fault. The discipline was not up to the standard we should be having. We let ourselves lose that game, but credit to Broncos, the way they played, their attack was very strong, destroyed us. But if we had our discipline right, I think we would have won that game comfortably. That's how I see it.
Look, I agree with everyone, like what everyone said. Yeah, like first half, bro, it's just they shut us down like completely from the first minute to before half time. But we can't blame Preston. Like, it happens, you know. But those 2 tries from Brisbane that when Montoya let it go, like,
What do you?
there was no there was a complete space. Sorry.
Yeah. What do you think?
That just let it.
Like on that game, what do you think? Did the Bulldogs play dirty? As in
Nah,
No, I don't think
they
so.
played dirty. I think just the NRL is just really picky on these high tackles.
Yeah.
It just happened to be high tackle. The Tupanua with the knee up. Looking at it now, it was very bad. Yes, his head went down, but again, I think you can't be lifting your knee up. That one was pretty bad, but I think apart from that, I don't think Burton deserved the suspension. Look, think about it. We never get sin bins. Our team's clean. We don't have that in our game. That was just one of the games where, just everything. Next week, I guarantee you, we're not going to concede a point. We're not going to concede a try. I think we're going to.
But you can't deny there was moments in that game where the Doggies players did play a bit dirty.
I don't know.
They were roughing up the Broncos players, bro. I think they got to our heads. We didn't expect them to play the way they did.
That's what I see it. As I said, I just feel the way we headed into this game, I think we had a plan, and just what Samuel said, Preston's, I'm not blaming Kim, everyone makes mistakes like Anthony said, but that key point when he lost it just applied so much pressure on us.
Bro.
We weren't used to it. And I just, like I said, 13v13, I think the score would have not been as bad as that.
And one more thing that I wanted to touch on that I haven't really heard anyone speak about is we heard this thing about the Doggies X Factor. Who is the Bulldogs X Factor? To be honest, it's no one on that team. It's the people sitting in the stands. And it was more evident to me in that game. Because when you think about it, we hadn't really played an away game.
Yeah.
Nothing this year. We haven't played a game this year outside the state. We played Dragons in Cogra. We played Cronulla in Cronulla. So, and there were still Doggies fans around, but we didn't play a team outside the state. So I feel like the Bulldogs fans were the ones getting the Doggies players over the line. That culture around the club again. That Good Friday game, perfect example.
Yeah.
65,000 at that stadium. So you're going to tell me that didn't help the players get over the line and put Rabbitohs to 0? I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah.
The Bulldogs X Factor are their fans. And that's why we were on that winning streak for 6 in a row.
Look,
100%.
again, yes, the Bulldogs fans play a big factor. But we look at last year, we beat the Knights away, we beat New Zealand away, we beat Broncos away. So I don't think it's, again, fans in every sport play a big factor, but I don't think the fans is the reason why we've been.
It's not the be all end all, but bro, it helps, man.
It does help.
Bro,
Yeah, it does help.
Rabbitohs shouldn't have been kept to 0.
Yeah.
Like that, they were going good up until that point.
Yeah.
Why were Rabbitohs kept to 0? Because 95% of that stadium were Doggies. You saw that with Jai Arrow. Jai Arrow Jai Arrow got that mad about a Doggies fan that he started mouthing off at him.
Like, give it to him, yeah.
Even try to spit at the guy. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I feel like we get under these teams' skins, and that's something we lost in the Brisbane game.
Yeah.
And again, not the be all end all. A system has to be put in place in order to win games. I'm talking about on the field. The players win the games too. But I feel like a big portion as to why we have won 6 in a row was the fans.
And you talk about the fans, even a few players last year, Cowboys players, Manly players, have said they look forward to playing against Bulldogs fans. Bulldogs, especially because of their fans. And by you saying X Factor, it makes sense when these players are saying they look forward because of the Bulldogs fans.
It's a big difference.
And if they win, they get that advantage over the fans. So that's,
Well,
it's a fair point.
Now let's go to the next game of that round. Canberra versus Dolphins.
Yeah.
What are your opinions about that game?
That was a solid game. Dolphins, I actually tipped Dolphins to win. They were good for the first half. Dominated. I think Raiders were the first team to score. Then Dolphins just took control of the game, started to get the momentum by their side. And just, as we've seen Raiders every single year, they're just comeback kings. They know how to win games when they're losing massively. They could be losing 36-0. They make the biggest comeback and win 36. And for Raiders, I think, yes, it's something they should be happy about, that when they're losing, they can come back. But there might be a time soon in the season where it might not just work for them. And that's why I think they have to fix that first half performance, because if they don't fix it, it could eventually, like we've seen last year, where they can go on a little losing streak and that can affect them on the ladder. So if they can fix that first half performance, I think they'll have a much better season and continue that top 4 run.
Yeah, Dolphins, we're starting to see the strengths on them. Their coach is starting to show what he can do. I think he's named Christian Wolf or something like that.
New coach,
Dolphins.
He was from England. But yeah, they got a good team. Herbie Farnworth, Hamaso. They got a good team. They're playing good, and they could have won that game. But again, Raiders at home is always a tough game to play, especially with all their fans.
That's why I'm scared when we play them in Canberra.
That's gonna be a tough game.
Yeah, but
forward packs is Corey Horsbar. Tarpanay has been on form lately.
He's exceptional,
You've got
yeah.
Nicholson, you've got Hosking, Papali, you've got Hudson.
Yeah,
Those big boys.
That's surely one of the best forward packs I've seen this year. I think no one tops their forward pack. Dolphins, credit to them, man. They're stepping up. I've put them. No, I didn't put them on soon. You all did, and majority of NRL fans did. But they have such a good team. Their backline's good, experienced backline. You've got a good forward pack. They're just about finding consistency, and it's a shame they didn't win that game because they beat the likes of Melbourne, Penrith.
Yeah.
They also beat Titans comfortably. So if they had got that win against a top 4 team like Raiders, that could have helped them a lot for the season.
Now let's move on to the next game. Tigers versus Sharks in what was a barn burner at Leichhardt Oval.
Yeah.
First of all, shout out to Paddy Tobin and the whole team behind Save Leichhardt Oval. Successful event.
Yeah.
I mean, they got a great turnout, got a great result. So yeah, mad props to the boys from there. But let's talk about the game,
Yeah.
mate. 20-18. Golden
game
Point.
itself,
It went to Golden Point.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was a good game. And when it got to Golden Point, it was like no one knew how to take the field goal, when to take it. Tigers had a moment. They passed to Luai. Luai then passed it back to Galvin, whoever it was, and they didn't.
Yeah.
It was just a game where it went everywhere. But yeah, Tigers deserved that. They were in control of the whole game. And Sharks, look, they're such a good team, but they've lost against Dogs, Tigers, and I don't think they'll be able to win the premiership. But they do have a good team to try and get in top 4, because the way they play is good. But I think it's like that we've seen in the past few years been so successful. And now I think it's just started to slowly fade away. And good on the Tigers. I've said it before. Dogs of 2024. They're going to win these types of games, and they deserve that. And I'm happy for them.
I think there's pressure on Craig Fitzgibbon now. I think this is the year with the squad he has, signing for Noah Blake. They've got such a good bunch of players. Nico Hines. You've got Ko Iro, who's been outstanding for them. I think it's important that if Fitzgibbon doesn't deliver, I personally think they won't get top 4 anymore this year. They need to at least get top 8. And I said that they have to make at least a grand final. They have to make grand final this year, but it looks of it, things are not going their way. So it looks, it's always about final series. When you're in the finals, anything can happen. But with Sharks, I think now they just have to focus on just the basics. Keep on focusing on getting the wins. They've got Ko Iro, who's back in their team, who's been such a incredible player for the first 4 or 5 games of the season. So if they can just, find a bit of structure, just focus more on their defense, I think they'll be in a better position.
I want to talk about Tigers, Lachlan Galvin. Now, he got booed initially when he jumped onto the field, and then he ended up getting cheered. Let's talk about his performance, man. To have the amount of pressure he did throughout the past couple of weeks and put on that performance, I'm sorry, bro. Like, Tigers fans, in a way, should be saying sorry, but at the same time, I get the situation, how he wants to leave and whatnot, but I did not expect that from Lockie Galvin.
That performance was saying... His performance was like telling them, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And that was that last try-saving tackle where I think it was Hazelton that was going through. If he didn't make that tackle, he scores that try and the game's done. So credit to him. And it just shows his heart's for Tigers. He wants to play for the club. He loves the club. Because if someone was focused on the future, I wanted to just leave, he would have just let Hazelton run through and score that. So it shows that he still loves the club and wants to.
Bro, it's the best when Tigers are winning, bro. I'm sorry. Like, that's just the side. I love when they're winning.
Especially with Adam Dwyer when he kicked that 2-point goal towards the end.
Pressure
Everyone's
was on
still
him.
talking about it till this.
It was a great moment.
It was actually one of the best moments.
But now let's move on to our magic round tips, round 9. Let's get it going, boys. Who's our special guest today?
Today we've got Ben Barber as our special guest.
Shout out Benny
We
Barber.
got
Benny
him on the
Barber, one of
pod,
the
I think
greats.
2 years ago, was it?
Oh, it was when we first
When we
started.
first started. So if you want to have a look at that podcast,
Honestly,
make sure you go
I'd
check it
love
out.
to if he's in the area, I'd love to actually get him in studio and like,
Yeah, it would be nice.
and just talk to him like in person.
If he's ever in Sydney, Barber, hit us up. We'll love to
Open
have you on.
invitation, Barber. You want to come in? You're more than welcome.
You get a chance to meet Anthony Michelle.
You'll meet all of us.
Childhood hero. But yeah, let's get
Okay.
straight into it. Warriors and Cowboys.
No, it's the first game,
First game.
Sharks and
Oh, my
Parramatta.
bad. I've scrolled down. So
So
Sharks,
we've got
Parramatta.
Sharks and Parramatta first game. Who you got, boys?
Sharks.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Sharks.
Against who, sorry?
Parramatta.
Parramatta Sharks, yeah.
Yeah, I think Sharks are due for a win.
Ben Barber's going for Sharks as well.
All right, next game we got Roosters and Dolphins.
This one's a 50-50. Few tough games this week. I think Dolphins get the win here.
Yeah, I'm tipping Dolphins too.
Dolphins. I was between Dolphins. I just feel they've been good this year, but I don't know. I feel Roosters. I've said Roosters have been performing well against the big teams when they need a win, and I find that when the pressure's off them, when they don't need a win and they've got that win, they lose.
Yeah.
But I think this is the one Roosters will get that win.
Yeah,
I'm going
look,
Roosters.
Dolphins, they're getting better and better like every single week, but Roosters, they had a good performance against Dragons at the Anzac round. I can't even say it. But they actually performed against Dragons well, so I'm actually going to stick with Roosters to win. Yeah.
Okay, Ben Barber's going for Roosters.
Bro, I'm sorry, bro. It's so weird hearing like Ben Barber's going for
Yeah.
like I know we had him on the pod, bro, but I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
for him to get involved, I'm sorry, bro. I'm still fanboying over this guy, man. It's 2025 and I haven't fucking shut up about it. But
We're
yeah, let's
glad I'm
go.
watching it, that's why. Okay.
Next game, we got Rabbitohs and Newcastle Knights.
I'm going to go no Latrell, and I think it's not a big loss. They've dealt well with him before he came back to the team. I'm going Rabbitohs.
I think Knights can cause an upset here, but I think I'll just still tip Rabbitohs.
Latrell's not playing.
Yeah.
Latrell's not playing. Rabbitohs, they're both in need for a win. But I'll go Rabbitohs.
I'm sick of Rabbitohs as well.
Call me Knights.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm going for a bold one.
Nice, yeah.
Next,
Ben Barber's going for Rabbitohs as well.
Rabbitohs as well.
Rabbits.
Next game, we got Warriors and Cowboys. That's going to be a hard game.
that's
that
a
one.
big
differential.
game.
Right
That's
there.
going to be, I think, game of the week, that one.
Yeah, that could be. Warriors.
I feel like
I don't know. You know,
Did I go Warriors? Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
Oh,
Warriors.
let me go on my team.
You know
I'll
what?
make
Can
sure.
can I switch my tip?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
okay, change
I'm going to stick with Cowboys.
Okay.
Cowboys, they played
Why
very,
did
very
you go
good.
Warriors at the start?
Yeah, I did tip Warriors, but I'm going to switch it to Cowboys. Cowboys are going to,
Okay.
I think they're going to fire up. Bill, who are you going to go for?
up the was.
Yeah.
The Waz?
Up the was.
Yeah, okay.
Ben
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 Barber.
Warriors, and Barber's gone Warriors as well.
Okay.
Next game, we got Tigers and St.
This
George.
one, you talking about game of the week? I reckon
That's
this one will
another
be.
This one, you reckon?
They're both in the same boat, man.
Yeah.
Dragons have had good games. Tigers have had good games.
Yeah,
Dragons have had bad games. Tigers have had bad games.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's going to be even. Like, bro, even sports bet saying $1.87 to $1.97. So you're talking
actually
about
close.
10-cent difference
Yeah, it's
between
very
the two teams.
I'm going to go Tigers 13 plus.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm going Tigers.
Yeah, I'm obviously going to go for
I
Tigers.
reckon it'd be close.
Yeah, it'll be a close game. I think it's going to be similar to the previous
Yeah, I'm
game.
going Tigers, and Ben Barber's going Tigers. Okay.
Sorry, Chris the Scene.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I feel so bad. Me and you, when we went to the Guildford
Yeah, we
Hotel,
actually, we didn't talk about that.
Yeah, we actually didn't talk about it. So we went to the Guildford Hotel. We saw Jamie Soward, Chris Sassine.
He was doing he was on the road show with
the road show with
yeah.
Michael as well.
Yeah, well, we'll quickly touch on it.
Yeah.
Top blokes, great event, great vibes.
Yeah.
Shout out to Chris Sassine and shout out to Jamie Soward. Let's move on.
Yeah.
So next game we got Titans and Bulldogs.
Bulldogs.
Of course, I'm
Yeah,
back in
Dogs
that.
will bounce back. I think they're going to put 40 points. I hope. So we can stay on the differential, like
My
on
bold
top,
pre-
120 points.
My
this
bold
week.
prediction is that Bulldogs won't concede a try.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah, I'm obviously going to go
I'm
Dogs.
going Dogs,
I've
and
learned my lesson.
Ben Barber's going Dogs as well.
Yeah, the Doggies.
Next game, Penrith and Broncos.
Look, Panthers, when they were underdogs against Roosters,
Yeah.
when it comes to betting wise, they won.
Mm.
They're not favourites this one, and I think as much as it's going to be a tough game to do, I think Panthers win here.
Yeah, I'm going Panthers.
Yeah,
It'll
I'm
be
s-
tough against Broncos.
Yeah, it will be
It'll be
because
very tough.
what's his name? Sorensen's he's out as well for 2-3 weeks. I just saw
Adam
that
Reynolds
a couple
is
weeks.
fit for the game.
Yeah,
this
Adam
week.
Reynolds.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah, Adam Reynolds will be out too, isn't he?
I'm
gonna
sorry,
go
bro.
Panthers.
I'm never tipping Panthers again.
Yeah, I know. What
Okay.
you said before a couple of weeks.
This
ago.
year
I probably would at some
Yeah.
I
point,
think I've
but
still tipped Panthers every game.
I'm going Broncos.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna switch it to Penrith to Broncos. You know what? I'm gonna go tip Broncos. Sorry.
Oh, did you tip Panthers?
Yeah, I
start?
did. Sorry,
Okay.
man.
All right, last one. Storm and Raiders.
Storm and Raiders.
Storm.
Look,
You can't ride a Raiders.
look, I can't write off Storm and Raiders. It's going to be a tough game, that one. I I don't know. Something's telling me Canberra Raiders. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
it's
lock
not a
in
bad
Canberra
shout. Not a
Canberra
bad
Raiders
shout.
this week.
I'll go Storm to be safe, but
Bro, they've actually had a good record against
Melbourne.
Melbourne at Amy Park last
They
year.
do, yeah.
And they actually did shut them down.
Well,
But it's at Suncorp, this one.
So it's going to be different at
Yeah.
Suncorp. So I think Canberra's going to
it's
get
going
it.
to be a good round.
I'm going Melbourne and
Yeah.
Barber's going
I'm
Melbourne.
taking
shout out to Ben Barber again
Yeah.
for
Shout out
joining
to
our,
Benny.
our tipping segment.
Fanboy.
No, that was another fanboy moment. But we move on. Now Andrew Johns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Andrew Johns. We're doing a lot of shout outs today. Shout out to Andrew Johns too, because this bloke stood up for the NRL, stood up for the fans,
Yes.
and he's that one bloke that can make a difference. You know, with us fans speaking online about the game and whatnot, it's not going to help. They don't care. We're just dollar
100%.
signs to them. But Andrew Johns is not a dollar sign. Andrew Johns has a voice in rugby league, and he stood up for everyone in saying and like. The sin bins were ridiculous. 18 sin bins over the weekend, and he showed his passion through that video. Now, what are your opinions on that, boys?
Yeah, it was bad to see that many sin bins. I think they're just, picking on these high tackles very too much. With the Ronaldo Militalo against the Tigers, he tried to milk a penalty. Actually, captain challenged it, and then I looked back on the footage. Jack Bird's hand touched the ball, and then his hand deflected off the ball to his hand. Militalo milked it as if he was going to go off for a HIA, and they overruled it. It was unsuccessful. So these players are starting to milk their penalties out of it in regards to these 18 sin bins. So players are starting to realize, you know what, maybe I can milk myself a penalty because of how soft the game's gone. And again, with the bunkers' decision now to not interfere into play unless it's a serious offence, it's a very good move because now we get to see the game flow. If a referee misses a high tackle, doesn't see it, it's right to move on. We don't need the bunker to say, all right, here's a sin bin offence. We just got to let the game flow. If there's something big they need to go back on it, do it. But I think this new rule they're implementing, hopefully, it cuts down the amount of sin bins we're getting.
Yeah. Look, it is a good move, but I still think there's more to it. I don't. That's very a minor change. I still think we're going to see calls and a lot of stoppages. I think the refs are going to potentially with the bunker. It helps a lot with the referees, but I still think the referees on the field. Think about it. The players are going to somehow milk it as well without the help of the bunker. Once they stop on the ground, say there's what Militalo did.
They're going to review it.
They're going to review it.
Yeah,
So, in a way, yes, there can be slow improvements, but I still think the same issue is going to happen.
I feel like
they're going to milk it and then...
I feel like it's a great solution. They're trying to fix the issue,
Yeah.
but at the same time, they're going to milk the shit out of it. And at
exactly.
the same time, they're going to go back on that video. And we all know how slow-mo treats a play.
Yeah.
Slow motion video, I'm telling you, it turns an innocent tackle to a dangerous tackle.
Yeah.
And we've seen it before.
That's the thing.
We've seen it
Players
stuff up a lot of plays before.
Players are now brought into this system now where because of the way the game's changed, they have to protect the head. Any little contact, they're going to fall to the ground. It's become like a football sport where players dive on the floor, act like they've got hurt, and that's what's ruined about the game. The true meaning of rugby league where just you get hit like they get hit to the head, that's a part of the sport. Now it being ruined by the rules being implemented, it just fans are getting turned off, and Andrew John's walking out of the commentary box.
Bro, that's pure
that
passion.
just shows
Pure
how
passion.
much he
Well
loves the
deserved
game.
to Andrew Johns.
Yeah.
I'll give good credit to him because
Yeah.
you know what, bro? After all that situations happened, all on that weekend, the 18 sin bins. It's
come to-
ridiculous.
it's
It's
come-
actually ridiculous.
It's come to a point for he's probably been waiting patiently, being quiet, not saying much about the referees, and this is the point where it's a turning point. He had to just leave that commentary and have a say.
I think
about
there's
the
a way
referees.
to. I think when it comes to checking high tackles, keep the game playing in normal motion. Don't go in the bunker to slow mo. As Bill said, it's going to make it look worse. Keep them. Make your decision based on how fast the game's going. We look at Nathan Brown when he was running so quick. What's
that was stupid.
what's the play going to do? He's gonna go high because if he goes low, he's gonna injure himself. So they should, leave the bunker reviews on normal pace. If it comes to a try, of course, you got to put on slow-mo. When a player's sleeping, they should instantly know if a player sleeps and gets contacted with the head, no penalty, there's nothing
Bro,
wrong. It's an
exactly. Like
accident.
that's
There's
what.
easy way. They can fix this.
I
thing.
think we'll
But
see
I
in
feel
the-
like,
they can.
if it's not done intentionally, bro, it shouldn't be a sin bin. Like,
No penalty,
for
nothing.
instance, the Tupanua knee. All right, in today's game, that's a penalty. That's technically a sin bin.
It was in the
But
fast mode. I know
It's
that.
in. He's gained a lot of momentum in the tackles in the run, and he's lifted up his knee in the tackle and in the run. So
it
with
happens,
with the player's head dipping down, It's just how do you? My knee doesn't have eyes to see if a player's head's going to dip down. I'm just running the ball. So, bro, they need to filter out this sort of shit in the NRL. Hopefully, this rule does it, but I doubt it.
I think they can fix it. As I said, they can fix it, but they just want to protect the heads of these players. But it's sport. Again, I'll
Make it touch footy.
Yeah, like yeah, true. Few people are saying about it's because they don't want these players suing them at the end of their careers when they've got all these problems.
Yeah, probably is.
But again, they're saying they should sign a contract before they play. Understand these are the risks, like MMA, UFC.
Yeah.
You can't stop that from happening.
Bro, it's a contact sport.
It is a
How
contact
you going to
sport.
market? I've always said it. How you going to market a game in America saying it's one of the most brutal sports in the world when everything's a
really not.
penalty in our backyard?
I think there will be. I think this new rule they've implemented, I think it will last for a few more weeks until there's going to be more changes. I think they're going to realize it's not working. The players are milking it, and just the same thing's happening. And I think changes will.
Now,
be made.
I want to say one more thing. I want to touch on Andrew Johns, what he said. He said, I think all the fans have the right to say like what's been happening the last few weeks of the Symbians and all that situation.
But
You know what? Enough is enough.
Let's hope we don't get that in Magic Round.
Yeah,
and
no, I hope
a
not,
great
no.
round that is.
Yeah.
But last thing, let's talk about the return of the Bears. Now rebranded to the Perth Bears.
Yeah.
Now, which players will join the Perth Bears? I think it's in 2027.
I think, 2027, I think.
Well, one of those players. Look, there's a lot of players off contract coming by the end of the year, free to negotiate. I feel a few players that are on the list. I think Cobbo might leave to the Perth Bears. He's came out recently saying that he wants a full-time job as a fullback. He feels he's more involved. He's loving it when he's playing with the Broncos. And I think when Walsh, he's no way going to be replacing Walsh. I think he's the main guy for Broncos at fullback. So if he wants to play at fullback, I think that's the perfect destination.
I've heard of Payne Haas in there.
Yeah,
he's
I've
off
heard
contract.
that.
Imagine Payne Haas to the Bears.
If they offer him big money, I doubt he'll move. I think he'll want to stay in Brisbane. But if they offer him money, who knows? I'll put one of my players I think might join.
Who you reckon will be?
This is not who I think, but there's rumours about saying this is the best move for Haywood to get his full-time position. Because you've got Bird and Sexton. Haywood could be limited at the Dogs playing utility role. So if Haywood wants to get a full-time, gig, I think Perth Bears could be a good one for him.
I mean, it's great that they're bringing back the Bears. I feel like, is it PNG then Bears? PNG was locked in.
But
So it's PNG.
PNG.
I feel like it should have been Bears then PNG.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, but I get it. It's a business.
So PNG is next year?
I think it's. I don't know when the Bears are coming in.
27 they said.
I think Bears 27.
I think PNG comes in next year. I
27.
think.
Yeah, I think it's 27.
Yeah.
We got our little Jamie. For those of you who watch Joe Rogan behind the podcast, just fact checked us 2027. So yeah, it's great they're bringing back the Bears, man. They should have come back a long time
They're
ago.
saying that Ryan Pappenhausen might go to Bears as well.
Yeah, because he signed a new deal
1 year
recently,
contract.
but he can
He can actually go there too as well.
Yeah, that would be a good move for them.
think-
He's also linked to Dogs still. Pappenhausen. We'll see how
I
that
don't want
goes.
him. The Dogs.
Even Terrell Sloan as well from St. George.
Yeah, look,
there's a lot of off
A
contract
lot
players.
of options, man.
Yeah.
But
I think
that-
they can build a nice young squad.
They'll do a
at
Dolphins.
the Perth
They'll
Bull-
start
Perth
off good.
Bears.
And,
What about those brothers from Dolphins?
Mitch, they're done.
They're done.
You reckon they're done?
I think
They're getting old.
you've got Kent at Newcastle Knights. I think he won't get a start at Knights, so he could join. You got Dylan Egan at Dragons if you want to pursue a better career at another club full time. So yeah, there's a lot of players. We're gonna just name players.
watch
like
out,
that.
Tavita Pengai come out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Maybe. Or even RTS, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck as well.
Yeah, maybe.
He's at Warriors, isn't he?
Yeah, I think his contract.
Yeah, I guess
coming up soon.
all these names are going to be chucked in the conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a wrap up
That's a
for
wrap.
another episode of Between the Sticks. Guys, if you're new here again, hit the like button, hit subscribe, comment down below. Again, follow us on Spotify, follow us on all our socials. And other than that, it's been the Touchline, and we are out.
I feel you're
See you later.
me.
No.
I feel you're